So we was bullish structures. I mean, I would have said something like this as a, obviously it takes a high there, so high. So I was sort of hoping for a huge buy up from here, which it did obviously, but it's come back and made a low. So it was bullish, mate. But because we've now taken this low here,
Hmm.
what it now does from here is what decides the structure is. So if from here it decides it wants to fill something in here, let's say,
Yeah.
and then makes a new low, takes this low,
Um,
then
then we're
I'm
bearish.
bearish, mate. But
Cool.
this is why I always say like what happens next is what sort of like decides it because we've still made bullish structures. Yes, we've taken a low, but this might be a liquidity sweep, and it
Mhm.
might have filled some imbalance it wanted to do it at the same time. So if we now form a new lower low, no, new lower high, lower low, then bearish. If it might go up now and make a new high, then obviously it's still
Bearish.
bullish, mate. So obviously that's it's always something worth thinking about. Obviously, we one of the rules of structure is obviously what it does next is what decides the previous sort of thing. So this is this is this is a live range still. I mean, I'm on the 2 hour, but in reality, that's probably like a daily structure, mate. To be fair, there'll be little smaller structures inside that. So I mean, this looks very much sweepish.
Hmm.
If this were on the 1 minute, would be excited for buys from there. You know, it's taking liquidity, and so yeah, it's
I
but
think I've got something like roughly where you've drawn the top of that high there,
yeah,
with the purple line. I think I've got something like that, maybe an
yeah,
hourly or 15 minute,
yeah,
for that yellow box.
yeah,
I'm sure I have.
yeah,
The one that's lower, like literally at the top of that purple line there.
yeah, 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 yeah,
That one, yeah, that one.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, like I say, I think because of the news, mate, I think fundamentals wise, I think it's going to go long now, and I think possibly a new all time high coming, especially with the
Yeah,
this as long as obviously because Trump's mentioned the dollar reserve or whatever it was. I think I can't remember exactly the words, but it was big news for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So
yeah, yeah.
obviously both have absolutely skyrocketed.
I thought that everyone, like, because after that big push just then, a lot of
Yeah,
people would be like selling because they're panicking about
yeah, yeah,
where the market's going because obviously it went all-time high
yeah,
and their money was roughly, sitting around, well, at a very good figure. And then
yeah,
suddenly we've just had this massive drop down,
yeah,
and people have been probably panicking,
yeah,
and going, oh shit, actually, I'm going to be losing a load of money here. And
yeah,
then that big pump there, and I reckon people are going to sell hard on that as well.
yeah. And I agree, mate. But what the big players? I mean, obviously, I don't know if obviously Bitcoin can be manipulated at all. But from a if this was a forex chart, obviously it's Ethereum.
Yeah,
Um, what the idea of liquidity is. So we've got obviously this is Ethereum. I'm assuming there's probably a trend line in Bitcoin because, and it's also worth noting that all these major events, so like Trump spoke or posted a tweet somewhere in this here, it tends to always coincide with a possible entry. We just don't always see it, obviously. So in here, there's a build up a trend line liquidity, and then obviously just here on the daily, it's quicker, it's easier to spot on the somewhat lower. Obviously, it takes the trend line, takes everybody's monies that are on CFDs or whatever, makes everyone shit the pants, probably panic sells, because of this huge push. This is, as I view it, this build up of liquidity and then taking it
yeah,
is the big boys building up, building up everybody's buys. So buys on this trend line. Everyone's thinking it's a strong touch. It'll be a buy. What it does is it wipes everybody's out, takes everybody's money, and then that leaves loads of buy orders for the big
yeah,
boys to get in
yeah,
because
right.
obviously they needed buy orders to be able to get in. Obviously, they'll be putting in millions or billions or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah.
they need to generate people buy orders, take it, and then there's all these buy orders sat there that have just been closed down. They can take it, and then the market flies. Uh, it's a better sweep on the 2 hour. But but like I say, mate, it seems to always coincide with the setup, so or news or whatever, you know. But we'll I'll not go too deep into like below the 1 minute, but from a structure perspective, obviously, if you'd have, let's say you've had a late on this trend line, obviously I've just showed you it was a good trend line. Um, so from there, let's start looking at 1 minute structure because we it does give a 1 minute breaker structure. So low, lower high, lower low. So this is our low. This is a highest point from this low being created. This is the highest point between this low being taken. So this is the 1 minute structure at the minute, and then this is the obviously the lowest point from this one being taken. So we've got that, then the highest point before it then breaks the low again. So I'll change that color. So is that clear to see for you guys?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So
Yeah, sound.
that's 1 minute structure. So obviously it takes liquidity, it takes the actual trend line here, but obviously retraces, doesn't break any highs. Yeah. Eventually, obviously, if you'd have had a late on this, you like I say you could have marked that high and mark put on a late on the low and the high, and when it broke here, when this one breaks and this low, obviously you can reset it and remove the alert to this high here. So if you'd been watching it, you could have set an alert there, turn it below. From there, obviously, we get a break of structure on the 1 minute, closes above here, this blue line. And then obviously, if we zoom in here, this is the lowest imbalance on the 1 minute. I'm not going to go lower because I can't be bothered. So obviously, a bit of imbalance in here. Yellow box for imbalance. Change. Yeah. And then obviously after at that point, sorry, if obviously if you're using alerts and things like that, obviously this would be the what this alert going off at the 1 minute high would be the point in which obviously the alert would have gone off and price would be say somewhere around here. And then because it's broken the structure, we would then look for an entry. And obviously, like I say, that's the zone I've just marked. So and then obviously it goes and does its thing. So taps into, fills whatever it wants to, and then from there it's right around for however long. A couple of days, it's right around up until the release of this, whatever that, whenever that was. So, but it coincides perfectly with trade. So I personally think that this was decided. It was decided at least 2, maybe 3 days ago, and then obviously they decided to do it once it had on the release of this being taken or whatever. And I'm assuming Bitcoin's exactly the same, so I don't want to change that. Bitcoin. So we'll see if we can find the exact same trade on this. So as you can see, I've got no markings on this one. So uh, let's mark it from the line there. So going to assume that pullback there. That one then. Yep, touch. I'll just do an extend that one. So we're confused. So touch, 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 and then from there, obviously, it fills. I know that's the low. I know I'm cheating a little bit, but obviously it fills some imbalance in this, whatever this push up is there. Pardon me. So from there, again, I'm assuming it's exactly the same. So we've got obviously a high and low created there. So high, low, high. So this one's maybe a little bit more difficult. This would be maybe a judgment call on where you I'll call this sort of stuff as a structure. So this section here, uh, obviously it wicks below here. Not sure it's enough for me to be really confident. It does just about body close as well, but obviously it's just difficult price action to read. But if we do go along with that as a new lower low, this is the highest point before the low is then retaken, which would be down here. Highest point again before it's retaken. That's there. And then obviously continues. So I've just moved my screen across, that's why I've stopped it. So then from there, obviously, this is the highest point before it's retaken. And I think at that point, I would just be. Don't think I'd class that as a pullback. So me personally would just be from that wick high to the low there. And then from that point, obviously, we get a change of character up there. So obviously this here. And then obviously at that point, it would be a time to consider if we like it enough that we, pardon me, would consider an entry. Um, just off the bat, obviously we'd be looking at something like this, something in here. I'm not going to jump to the seconds for the sake of this, but something in there, line it with 5 minute assuming we get the taps in there. That the spreads, that goes on the way. So higher time frame. I mean, I had zones up here marked, so if I was catching a buy, I'd be looking at something like that maybe. Obviously, liquidity still higher, so possibly liquidity up there. I don't think it'll take this one for a long time now, unless it absolutely flies. But shorter term, obviously, from a 2 hourly and 4 hourly perspective, somewhere up here is the high that puts in the low possibly. So we've got a pullback, high, low, possible pullback. This is possibly the highest point before this low. So somewhere up here would be an ideal 4 hour structured test. I do think it's going higher now, but yeah, so it reaches it. So that's the identical trade on Bitcoin. Same again. It's created liquidity. Delete item. Obviously, I can't remember the trend line is. This touch here, I think it was, takes everybody's orders again, build up buy orders because people think it's going to touch the trend line, bounce off. I'll take that off actually. Yeah, couple of touches, 3 touches, buys up. People think they're getting a foot bite of the cherry, takes everybody's buy orders. The big boys will fill them with their money, and it absolutely flies. So, and that's one to 27. I mean, that would have been a couple of day hold, but one to 27, and that was not even refining the entry. Um, yeah, does that make any sense to anybody?
Yes, mate.
Yeah, happy with that. So obviously we was talking about Matt commented in the group the yesterday, I think it was, about continuation reversal. Obviously this is a reversal option for the trade. So I'll just do a bit on that. So with both trades are pretty much traded the same. It's just the difference in the difference between the two is obviously this one's reversing, and sometimes it will take the liquidity and then pull back into the order block that causes the sweep. So maybe up here, but obviously the amount of, I mean, I would hope it would present that one side wouldn't break structure, change a character, sorry, before giving the opposite. Let me start that again because that was confusing myself here. With reversal, obviously, you would want it on this one occasion. Obviously, it's come down here. It's done a 1 minute change in character. Obviously, you would check to see that you are happy with what it's tapped into. So there doesn't look to be too much down here. It's not on the 4 hour anyway. Obviously, it's filled some in here, and I don't believe there's no trend lines that are making me think it would come just below that. So as long as it filled the imbalance in there, there's no liquidity directly below, no major imbalances that make me think it's definitely going to want to come and fill that. So obviously, if structure's on your side as well, then obviously it gives you confirmations that it would want to go long again. Obviously, on this occasion, it would be a reversal. Let's see if I can find good examples of the continuations. Can't remember which ones I was looking at. So, I'll give it that one. Give me a sec, guys. I'm just trying to find what interest around. So, 1 minute. So, wick low to this creation of imbalance on the 1 minute. normally I wouldn't be trying to mark on the 1 minute, but as you can see, I'll go up a couple of time frames. The imbalance disappears pretty soon above the one, so I dropped to the 1 minute to find the imbalance at that area that was a focal point of interest. But before that, obviously we've got again it's trend line one touch, two touch, three touch, and then obviously this area in here is what causes this trend line to be taken. Just check from a structure perspective. Yeah, so I think higher time frame we was looking at long as well. Yeah. So higher time frame, I was looking at longs, possible buys from possibly where we're at now, and we've possibly started making obviously these lower time frame structures going on in here. So here it's creating bearish things, and then obviously we've started breaking highs in this. So break a structure possibly there or there, retracement into test that structure that causes it, and then obviously we from somewhere possibly in here I was looking for new higher high, so above here. I'm not saying we've got it from here, but obviously it's possibly filled everything in here. It's broken. It's definitely broken above this high. That's probably the actual structure high there on the, that would be my 15. This red one, the blue one, my 4 hour. So inside the 4 hour, obviously inside this is the 15. So 15's 10, possibly bullish with that break to the upside here. Draw a line on there. Broken above there. Obviously, it could be a liquidity sweep as well, but we've also waited for lower, like 1 minute breaks down here. So that down here, the 1 minute turns bullish. The 15's possibly just turned bullish, and then it's now making, we're starting to see possible structures to turn long. So it creates liquidity, it pushes through it, it doesn't break to the downside after it takes liquidity. So the structure that leads up to, obviously it's created the trend line, it pulls back, it takes it, it gives other breaks to the upside before it takes a new low. So obviously this is again, it pulls back, tests the low, and then starts breaking to the upside. I can't remember what. I think I got the structure slightly wrong on this, so I actually missed it. I was waiting for it. I wasn't. What I think it possibly is I think I was waiting for this because I didn't trust this push up, but I don't know what that is actually. Bit news maybe. But I think what I should have been looking for is it breaks above this high, creates a low, and then takes it here, this high. But I was trying to be safe and missed it, but left it is what I actually did. Obviously, it comes back, mitigates filling imbalance, clears off. This also might have been an entry here, but I didn't spot. Big impulsive push there, mitigates it pretty much after taking a high, and then continues making bullish structures from there. So that's a continuation there. It's taken it, literally just fills the imbalance in the order block that causes the sweep to be taken. So this blue box here didn't break any other lows because this is a long structure. So that's my that's a continuation. obviously have to look into that deeper to see if there was an entry I missed. But I was watching it and missed it anyway, so it doesn't really matter now. But it's always nice to back test and make sure you're trading the eye, I guess. Anyone got any questions, guys?
Still not clear on. Hello, Lee. How you doing? I'm still not clear on how we tell whether we're working towards a reversal or a continuation. But to be honest with you, I think I need to sit with some examples and work it out, Lee. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll probably come back and ask you another time about that.
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate. So, I mean, just as a quick add to that, the obviously the overall structures is one thing that I'm looking for, and yeah, so obviously higher time frames. Like I said, obviously here I've got my red line, which is possibly my daily structure, so it's pulled back, and then we've started. I was expecting a buy up from somewhere, probably somewhere in this bottom, where this blue box starts, this bottom quarter here. It might still come lower, it might not, but obviously on its way down. So dailies this whole range here. Obviously 4 hours me blue, so and it's the blue's pulled back. It's pulled back into this bottom quarter of me 4 hour, the blue one. And then obviously inside this we've got 15 and we get a break on the 15. So 15 bearish on this section, breaks to the upside. We come back to the bottom of the 15-minute low that caused the break to the upside, and then we get 1 minute breaks to the upside and bullish. So from here, obviously this area here is where the 15 turns bullish, and then because obviously that's when it happens. Then back here it's come back to 1 minute bullish as well. So we have daily 4 hour, 15, 1 minute all going bullish. So structures on the side of longs anyway. So when I'm seeing liquidity on these sort of areas when everything else is long, every time frame long, obviously that's one reason why I would be looking for continuations anyway. Obviously, obviously there is a possibility it could have swept that, come down into something in here that I was also looking to buy from. But if it does that, then it's I suppose if it's got to come all the way back down here now, where I thought it was going to, it's got to break structures again. So structures a major one. Why I was looking for a continuation there anyway, um, and it's once it's taken liquidity. So I'll see if I can find another one. So obviously there's this trend line here. This gets taken. I'll check to see if it gives a 1 minute break of structure. If, I think again because of how the candles are printed, so assuming it comes something like this, and then obviously take doesn't come back and take the high that and the obviously the area that causes it to come up here, take this high, and then obviously it come back and mitigate something in here. But obviously it doesn't do that. So what it does do is it comes back into the high. Obviously there'll be an imbalance or whatever in here, and then starts breaking to the downside, like to the 1 minute to the downside again. So it's just where the it's just obviously where the 1 minute happens because both options just take liquidity and then give you the option of a 1 minute break one way or the other. So obviously it's just the way the candles are printed. This one's I don't class any of these bits as structures because It's just messy and no actual significant pullbacks as such. So, well, I mean, that's possibly
Right. So
just
you've not had a change of character, basically. Is that the key?
yeah. So obviously, it does. I believe it does
It's
up
not
here.
breaking that previous high.
No, so
Yeah.
because it's continuing, it doesn't pull back and take this high. Whereas if it was reversing, it would take this high. So when liquidity is
Yeah.
taken,
Okay.
you're waiting for a break of structure or not if it's going to continue. But obviously, when it comes back up here, I would then
Yeah.
want it to do a 1 minute to the downside again before coming back up for
Yeah.
entry. Yeah,
Yeah. But you're still looking for the same confirmation shape
yeah,
that goes
same
up, comes down.
confirmation,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah.
Just yeah,
Yeah. I
just
get it. Fair enough.
yeah,
All right.
sweet.
And it's
Obviously,
to do with higher time frame structure as well as to
yeah,
what you're probably expecting.
yeah,
What's more probable at that point in the market anyway.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. All right,
Thanks.
no worries. Is there any other questions, guys?
No, early in the weekly, I think you and I can't remember who else it was. Now you're both looking at GJ, weren't you? I think. Do you mind going
Me
through that with
and
us?
me and George on GBP
Yeah.
CHF.
Oh, it's CHF. I thought you were on GJ. Sorry.
No, CH. I think we was all talking about GJ on Friday, but yeah, yeah, absolutely, mate. So it was GBP CHF. George was in a sell and I was in a buy. So um, basically, mate, it's so this is actually a really good example because it's it gives both examples. So technically, this is a reversal. So obviously, build liquidity, build the imbalance, reverses. So it gives an entry, reverses. But it also could be considered a continuation from obviously this area is the start of the move because this area takes this trend line. So this could be considered both reversal and continuation depending on how far back you went. Obviously, if I move my screen to there, you would just say it's just reversal because it's taking liquidity, it's heading down, takes it, reverses. But if you go a bit further, so that the actual move starts from this point here, that takes this trend line, which is why I had the area marked, was because it took this trend line. So it's come and tapped, filled an imbalance and an order block that caused liquidity to be taken. Uh, so obviously this trend line here, liquidity line, what you want to call it. This is the high. So touch there, creates a high. It's actually up here actually, but and then takes it. So from this high to this low, pardon me, this is the high that should have been there. So I'll move it across there. That should have been the change of character. I'll just draw that. So no, low, and then obviously we get a break there. So that's obviously the structure. I'm just going to delete that quick so you can see. So the high there gets taken with this push up here, and obviously from there you can see obviously there's a big push up from this area here, which is the one that I took. It has since come and taken this out, and there's a beautiful imbalance in here that I didn't spot because I started on a too lower time frame. So, um, but yeah, basically, obviously, once it's broken, taken the trend line, made a low, filled in imbalance, which is super important. So I'm not just happy if it just doesn't fill into anything that I'm happy to buy from. So big down candle here on the 5 minute here, but comes and fills this here. So big push down, big push up. But saying it marks just on top of that wick just to allow a little bit. Um, so takes liquidity, just about fills into the imbalance. It also created another trend line on that sweep as well. So two liquidity lines taken. Then we get a break to the upside in what I believe to be a bullish structure market. So I fully understand why George was looking for sells because we've started creating bearish structures here. So, but I'm hoping it's going to come higher still. So I understand why he was looking for sells, but because it had taken, I was looking for a sell from here, and because this took it, I was not worried about. I'm sort of expecting it to come somewhere up here now as the next point where it might turn from. But shorter term structures, we've got something like that. That's possibly a 4 hour. So inside this last leg, obviously this is the most recent 4 hour range at the minute, and then inside that we've got something like that. So I'm sort of anticipating. Obviously, there's a trend line here to take as well. I'll change that. So turn that green trend line there. So it comes into this bottom quarter of this do this one. Comes down to the bottom part of this orange 4 hour range, and then obviously it starts the 1 minute starts turning bullish as well. So this is the point where all three time frames that I mainly use, so 4 hour, 15, and 1, are all long again. So I was looking for longs. That's why I was looking for longs from there. And obviously I was originally looking for um this trend line to be taken, but I actually and luckily I took the trade when I did because um this trend line had been taken and this one here. So I took the trade. So last what did I take this? Wednesday. So Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday night, my lovely young daughter got hold of my phone and put a trade on my account. Yeah,
Glorious.
yeah. Do you want to know what's
I'm sorry,
worse?
man.
Did it come
Go on.
in? Did it come in?
No, 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 it did not. Um, the worst thing about it is she placed the trade on spread hour. So as soon as
Ah,
she, yeah, and she market executed as well. So instantly lost just, it was about 7.5% of the account just gone like
Oh
that.
my God.
So,
well, how old is she?
uh, 13 months old, nearly
Ah,
14. So yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, she just, yeah, she just literally,
I'm sorry, mate. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no,
It's
I
funny.
laughed about it
She,
myself.
she only wants to do what daddy does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So she's just copying her daddy.
yeah. Um, and this point here was I think this, this pullback here, I think was just shy of the money made back that she'd lost. So I was getting a bit twitchy around here. So in the end, I decided to pull the plug. I pulled it. I think it was there. It continued going up, and I was thinking, what a fucking baby.
Pussy.
Yeah, end up reversing. I
Pussy. Should have left
and I
it.
should have, mate. But if what what sort of decided it for me was um I had another look at structure, and I wondered if this was one of these was a new low as well that got
Mm.
taken. So orange line, but from a smaller perspective, we've possibly got, and then we possibly get a break here and reverse. So we might actually start selling off now. Turn that one purple. So yeah, I will anyway. So and yeah, I started getting itchy fingers and checking my phone a bit, so I just closed it out. I made back what I watched the daughter had lost, so I was
Mm.
happy. I think it was just like a because I obviously because I didn't put that trade on myself and she'd lost it. I think just getting the money back was like in the back of my head. That was my goal really. So, but
Yeah.
then it's since come back and filled the imbalance that was just below my entry. Obviously, this looks like I've lost here, but this is spread out and it didn't happen on my broker. So, price was up here somewhere.
We'll be able to
So,
show us the actual entry, Lee, and just why you
yeah,
chose it
yeah,
and stuff like that, mate.
yeah, of course, mate. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, obviously, you can see here, mate. This is obviously event it come back for down here, and this is actually the better looking entry, but I've jumped too low, so I decided against this one at the time, and I was at work anyway, so um, I wasn't, I was just on my phone rather than my tablet, which I normally trade from. So obviously, just on the 1 minute at a glance, it looks like the move comes from somewhere in this area here. So um, so yeah, that's obviously on the 15. I don't normally look at the 15, so this candle here would have should have been the entry I took, but I believe I initially just
So
took
does
it.
that still pique your interest, that big kind of like, even though it's half being took?
Yeah, yeah, it's so big, mate. It's these candles, they're not natural, mate. So even if it's half filled,
Mm.
like obviously, I'm pretty sure it didn't look like this on the five. It looked shitty on the five, I think. So my entry there, mate, was this one here. Obviously,
Yeah.
yeah, that was me because this was a bitty and bobby. I just wasn't sure. Um, but I mean, it looks far better on the 10 than the 15. So yeah, this was. I think this is the actual better entry and possibly the best entry. And this one here was obviously so this obviously the where this candle starts, this big impulse here. Plus we've got the big down push in this side of it as well. Whereas this one doesn't. This is just whatever. So I went with this one, mate. If I'd have maybe if this one would have lost, I would have also market executed from here. I don't know, but obviously from when it's done what it's done, from the point it breaks the structure. So where is it? Video note. Yeah, so obviously breaks here. So in reality, it could have been anywhere from let's play a few cameras. So it breaks there, this high here. So in reality, the entry could have been anywhere between this high and this low, possibly this low because that looks to have filled all that. But spread out anyway. So yeah, from there to there, but obviously we use imbalance and points where we think that the injection from the big boys has happened, and obviously this big push here. I don't think there's too much below. Nothing of the same size anyway. Obviously this is
Yeah.
smaller. So yeah, we just use impulsive. Like that one's filled by this. There's maybe something in here, but I was willing to take that chance on this being the right area because obviously it's the direct cause of the change of character as well. So
Yeah.
it literally directly causes that. But what I have found, mate, is quite often it will give you a decent trade from the one that directly causes it. And if this is quite far away from obviously said about this area here, it does often sometimes come back for this at a later date. So we might well obviously I don't know what's in there, but that's a possibility. But if it does come that low now, I think it's risky because it has, like I say, possibly shifted high, possibly low's been taken. So and from there, it's so if we look at it from obviously I got out here, we possibly get it possibly fills an imbalance in this top quarter of this structure leg here. Let's draw it. So top quarter there that will fill an imbalance in this, no doubt. Then we get a 1 minute change to the downside by the looks of it. So the sell presented itself nicely. I just wasn't looking at it. So break below here. This would have been my change of character. And then we probably buy in there or there. Sell, sorry. Yeah, the top one. So the sell actually presents itself. I just didn't take it, didn't see it, wasn't looking for it. So, but yeah, it's all.
Cheers for that.
Yeah, it's fine, mate. It's all good. It's all good. Is is there anything else that you want me to cover, guys? Because if not, I'll probably call it there. Because
So when I put a message in the chat, Lee.
Oh, there. If you get a minute, can we
Yeah.
go through the chat I put in Discord? Yeah. What is in what section, mate?
Oh, it's in the FVV one.
A second, try and find it.
That was yesterday.
Or CAD.
Yes.
Quick look. CAD. Delete some drawings. Okay. You're looking at buys, weren't you, mate? I can just see.
Yeah, basically, I'm just trying to see if I was on the right track there with what I've marked up.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm definitely thinking buys, mate. So obviously, if you look at my structures, red one's higher, probably daily. Orange will be 4, so we're very low in this previous leg down here. So um, this summit in here actually causes this trend line to be taken as well. So possibly a very good zone, mate. Um, expected it in reverse, not reverse, so might react to something that one. This sort of area specifically. Yeah, so structure-wise, mate, believe, mate, yes, yeah. So structure-wise, we've just had a break to the upside. So I mean, this sort of price action is shitty, but it creates a low there, lower high, lower low. So we broke over that on the 1 minute. So just 45.
Yeah, so that's what I've written up in my one. So if it doesn't come down to make a lower low, it's a higher low.
Yeah.
That's where I probably start being interested in a buy
Yeah.
if it creates a POI
Yeah, absolutely,
and
mate.
then comes back down for a return.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just trying to look. Um, so let's see. So I'm just thinking at the minute, mate. So just
You're right.
marking these zones because if it's not sure on this one. Not sure on that. Possibly that. Not convinced on that. Yeah, I mean, if it's going to, mate, it's. I believe it'll do it from one of these blue boxes. Would be one of my entries possibly. Yeah, it's difficult price to read that, mate. It's not. I think because Ordcad's a little bit slower. Sometimes it's a bit of a shite to read, but to be honest, I think maybe that one's my favourite. But do like that one's possibly as well. Uh, Go back. Takes. Take that. Yeah, shite on the 5. Something. I feel like something happens in this, but yes, it's. I quite like it, mate. I do. It's. I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel too poorly to actually. I mean, this one. Is that right? Yeah, this little zone here that I've got marked is possibly causes this little bit of liquidity to be taken as well, and it looked like something happened in there on the real lower time frame. So yeah, like I say, one of them, mate, is where my if I had to place one, like I say, it'd be one of these. But which one I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I like it, mate. It's broken to the upside. It's higher time frame, so I think you're in the right sort of area.
It's good. Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah,
Thanks, mate.
yeah, possibly onto a banger, mate. To be fair, because if that does turn from one of them, I would anticipate a new high above this. So just because we've
That's
got,
yeah. It's kind of where I'm looking.
yeah, yeah. So
As you can see in my markup, I'm indicating quite high.
yeah,
I'll probably take profits along the way, but
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, I think you're in about the right area, mate. Definitely do. Like I say, the fact that it's come so low into this pullback, new high. So because we're deep into this high taken, run back, and it's now breaking on the lower time frame. So definitely worth a deep look into it, mate.
We'll see how it progresses through the day.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's the only thing that's putting me off. It's Monday tomorrow, so well, it's Monday where you are now, I'm guessing. But
Yeah, the spread hour is about to hit and
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
be a
yeah,
good ride.
keep an eye on it obviously through the day for us, mate. For the night for you, I guess.
Will do.
Right, cheers, mate.
Thank,
I'll call it there because I don't feel too good. So
no worries, mate. Take it easy.
cheers, lads. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.